If you've tried every tactic or strategy for your service-based business and nothing's worked, don't worry. I was the same as you. I tried every tactic and strategy under the sun, and it wasn't until doing this for over 50 businesses did I realize what the reasons were. So in this video today, I'm going to share with you the 7 lessons I learned running marketing for 50 B2B service-based businesses. I just want to start by saying that if you're running a product-based business like an e-commerce business or in retail, then this may not apply to you. And that's because the buying process for service-based businesses is quite different. So a lot of these lessons and experiences are off the back of working with businesses like accounting firms, legal services, dentists, doctors, brokers, coaches, consultants, and more. Okay, let's get into it. Lesson number 1. Most businesses focus on capturing demand and don't do enough demand generation. So what's the difference between capturing versus generating demand? Capturing demand is when your customer is in the market at a very specific point in time looking for the type of service you provide. So if you're positioned number 1 on Google or running ads at the exact time they're looking for what you provide, then there's a chance that they could buy from you. The problem with that is that 95% of your target buyers aren't looking for you at that point in time. So to generate future demand, you need to do what's called pre-marketing. That's the idea of being front of mind or having mental availability. So you need to start with raising awareness of what you do, what are the benefits, and when. So these are the things like being active on organic social media or brand ads, so that when people finally move from non-buy to buy mode, then they'll potentially come to you instead of your competitors or Google. The analogy I like to use with demand generation is that it's kind of like planting seeds. The seed is the idea or awareness in the mind of your audience, and when you tend to your crops like watering it and keeping weeds away from it is like the regular content you create to keep that mental availability. The better the quality of the content, the more likely you'll see a great result. The opposite is also true. If you use poor quality content, don't expect to be able to see a return on investment. Then, once you're in season, which is when your buyer's ready to start their purchasing journey, you want to be ready to harvest. But you can't do it without doing all the hard upfront work of tending to it leading up to this. Lesson number 2. Most businesses spend too much time focusing on their features rather than their brand. Features are things like how many years of experience your company's got, or you do things to differentiate yourself, like we have feature X that they don't. The big problem with this is that these can be easily copied. And you can probably toot your own horn for a little while, but as the market gets more competitive, they'll eventually catch up to you. For example, Tesla used to be the only one that has long-range electric cars, but now there are a whole heap of car makers who will also get there. So you constantly have to innovate if you want to compete on features. That means when a category or industry matures, the more commoditized everything gets. And you end up finding that everyone looks basically the same. The only thing you can do to separate yourself is your brand. Brand keeps you original. The only problem is being original is hard, and most businesses struggle to understand how to do it. For example, accountants are stereotypically perceived as boring number crunchers. You imagine this old guy in a musty old office swimming in paper and doing everyone's taxes. So when one of our clients started to create marketing content, here was this young, high energy guy who was using memes and cracking internet jokes while teaching his target audience everything there is to know about accounting and business. Lesson number 3. If you want to sustainably grow leads and revenue for your business through marketing, it takes longer than you think. In the past, I've had business owners come up to us after a month saying that they're not seeing ROI from their marketing. And I think marketers are to blame for this. I see marketing and particularly ads everywhere about how someone spent $50 and managed to turn that into $80,000 in their first month. Or running just this one email helped them make $24,000 in 21 days. It's all smoke and mirrors. Firstly, it might work once, but it won't work again, which means you constantly have to reinvent the wheel with these tactics. Secondly, ad spend is progressively getting more expensive. You have to spend more today on Google ads or Facebook ads to get the same results you got 5 to 10 years ago. To build this sustainably, you need to build an audience, and that doesn't happen overnight. A lot of people think that if you build, they'll come. It just doesn't work like that anymore. People have too much choice and not enough time or attention. You have to go to them and actively give them a good reason to spend their hard-earned time with you. There's no quick hack or silver bullet. You have to do this day in, day out, and that takes time. So instead of measuring the success of your marketing in arbitrary 1 week or 1 month windows, you need to calibrate and start thinking about it in 12, 24-month windows and beyond. If you look at some of the most successful brands, they didn't build any of their brand overnight. What makes you think you can? Lesson number 4. Consistency wins. If you show up week in, week out with high quality content that educates and entertains your audience, then your business will grow. B2B marketing isn't about creating the equivalent of your Super Bowl commercial. The impact and influence on people's buying decisions happen in the consistent publishing of regular content that makes your audience better, helps them succeed, and builds a strong affinity with your brand. It's the sum of all parts that make up the majority of the success. Because people have limited mental availability now, you have to consistently show up and remind them through giving value in your content to continue to remain front of mind. Most business owners who come to work with us are buying consistency and in turn speed to result because they've realized that they don't have the bandwidth or the expertise to be able to do it consistently and at a high level of quality. Lesson number 5. Don't look at what big brands are doing. The big brands that have a large market share can get away with more complacency. Coca-Cola or Nike can get away with crappy marketing because they have a brand presence already. Small businesses, on the other hand, need to fight tooth and nail to even have a fraction of that presence. So when you're looking for inspiration on what to do for marketing, don't look to these big brands. MailChimp is number 1 for email marketing and doesn't need to try too hard to be different or market its brand too differently. You have to differentiate yourself from MailChimp. That leads me to lesson number 6. Personal brand is now more important than company brands. This channel helps service-based businesses. And if you run a service-based business, then you need to understand that people buy from people. The classic examples are that Tesla has Elon Musk and Apple had Steve Jobs. So big companies are even using personal brands for themselves. We build the personal brands of all of our clients because when another brand or competitor comes along and tries to challenge them, they can't. They might be able to copy their features, but they can't be them. And that is the ultimate moat. And finally, lesson number 7. Traditional selling is dead, and in its place is marketing. This is because of the power of the internet. Buyers now have more information at their fingertips than at any point in history. Before the internet and social media, businesses couldn't specifically find and target their audience using marketing efficiently. So you had companies with big sales teams who would do outbound sales like telemarketing or cold calling. For those of you who are old enough to remember, if you think about how you buy now versus 10 to 15 years ago, it's wildly different. Now you do a whole heap of research. You read up on Google reviews. You ask your friends or colleagues for recommendations. You're in communities like Facebook groups and Slack groups. You're watching YouTube videos or you're checking out a company's social media before you decide to buy. And only when you finally made your decision and you're narrowing it down to the last couple of steps do you go and get in contact with someone from the company you want to buy from. So sales reps are now more facilitators than salespeople. They're like the exit lights of an airplane. They're just there to illuminate the best pathway for you to take. And in its place is marketing, because good quality marketing now is all about educating and teaching the audience the benefits of your service and positioning you as a trusted expert. Then, when they finally bite the bullet and they're ready to choose a service provider, you'll be in that set of consideration. Okay, so those are the 7 lessons. If you found this helpful and want to learn more about how you can generate more leads and revenue for your B2B business, then you can check out our Ultimate 2022 B2B Content Marketing Playbook. The link is in the description box below. I also recently published a video called The 3 Methods to Help You Generate Endless Content Ideas for More Leads. So if you haven't already, head on over there to check it out if you're interested. Lastly, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more tips for your business. See you next time.